feasting with the abbot. The refectory was a world away from the cold austerity of the scriptorium. Here, the air was warm with the smell of baking bread, spiced stews, and the faint sweetness of honeyed wine. The long wooden tables gleamed with a thin coat of oil, the surface worn smooth by decades of elbows and bowls sliding across them. Above, banners of the monastery's patron saint hung between the rafters, their colors softened by candle smoke and years of feast day celebrations. On ordinary days, the meals were plain: lentil pottage, coarse rye bread, perhaps a wedge of hard cheese. Conversation was replaced by the voice of the reader, a monk standing at a lectern, reciting from scripture or the lives of the saints, while the others ate in silence. But tonight was different. It was the feast of Saint Benedict, the monastery's founder, and silence was replaced by a low hum of anticipation. The abbot sat at the high table, his chair carved with vines and saints, a position both of honor and responsibility. Before him, the dishes were set with a generosity rarely seen: roasted capons with crisp, golden skin, bowls of river fish poached in herbs, platters of root vegetables glazed in butter and honey. A jug of wine, deep red and fragrant, stood ready to be poured, a rare indulgence allowed only on feast days. The brothers entered in order, bowing before taking their seats. The clatter of trenchers and the pouring of ale mingled with the muted strains of a psalm sung in thanksgiving. At a signal from the abbot, the servers moved quickly, ladling stew, cutting bread, filling cups, the room filled with the soft rhythm of eating, spoons scraping bowls, bread breaking, a murmur of voices rising like the slow building of a tide. For the younger monks, this was a rare glimpse into the abbey's moments of joy. They watched the abbot lean toward the prior with a quiet smile, listened as old stories were told about abbots past, about years when the harvest was so poor that the feast consisted only of onions and boiled greens. Here, the distance between ranks seemed to narrow. A novice might find himself sitting next to a senior brother, sharing the same loaf, the same jug of cider. The feast was not only about food, it was about remembering that the monastery was a community, bound together not just by prayer and labor, but by the simple act of breaking bread together. It was in these moments, between the solemnity of the choir and the stillness of the cloister, that the abbey felt most alive. After the meal, the tables were cleared and replaced with platters of dried figs, nuts, and small honey cakes dusted with cinnamon. The abbot offered a final blessing, his voice rich and steady, thanking God for both the bounty of the earth and the hands that had prepared it. The candles burned lower, shadows dancing on the stone walls, and one by one the brothers drifted back to their cells, their bellies warm and their spirits lightened. For the scribe who would return tomorrow to his cold